All right, hey everybody, you're listening to another edition of Boston Celtics Newsfeed. This is Celtics Roundtable, where I am Matt Ignal, joined by Lucky's Pipe, Evan Valenti, and once again, our guest is CelticsBlog writer Alex Kungu. In the last podcast, we talked about how Markelle Fultz's defense might not be as bad as everyone thinks. And
Alex's defense might be really good. You never know about that. He might be a really good. He might be a plus defender. We don't know about that.
We'll see. But I guess to me, like the Celtics need a guy who can be a winning player, a guy who could be perhaps even like a number one option, the best player on a championship team. And to me, like, you know, while KYRIE Irving and Damian Lillard have done, you know, a decent enough job as number one options at the time, they're just not. And if Markelle Fultz is only as good as those guys, I think it's going to be disappointing for the Celtics. And we're watching these finals right now. And to win championships, it just like sticks out to you, just like how hard it is. And, you know, I'll throw it to you, Alex, our guest, to start on here. When we're talking about like the top range of outcomes for Markelle Fultz, can you see him really getting into being one of like the top 5 players in the NBA, the guys you need to win a championship?
Honestly, I think so. I think it kind of starts with like when you're kind of scouting him, you realize that though he's not perfect, there's not like anything really major that he has to work on his game. Like, he doesn't have to like learn something new. A lot of stuff about him is just getting better at things that he's already good at, and he already is pretty good at just about everything you want. I do understand the two-way aspect. You want to have a guy that's good on defense. You want to have a guy that's good at offense. You want like, I think what he's shown is that he can be passable on defense, and then once you're passable on defense, like, offense wins games, man. Offense will win you the championships. Like, defense builds culture, offense wins you games. And I think Markelle Fultz is going to win a lot of games because of his offense, and because his offense allows you to play with so many different players. And that's another big thing when it comes to team building, is like, how do you build a team around someone? Like, think of someone like Westbrook. Like, there's a specific player you have to pick to put a team around Westbrook. It has to be shooters, guys that stretch the floor because of his game. Now think about how to build a team around a guy like Steph Curry. Just about anyone. Like, if you can play, like, you can play with Steph Curry. And I think because he's so talented and his game can just mesh with anyone, he can end up being a number one option.
I mean, I'm not going to be really angry if like it's Kyrie or Dame Lillard. I mean, I still think you can build a winning team around those guys. You know, I think in terms of the Cavs, I mean, they've obviously struggled with LeBron James coming back to the fold. But I mean, if you would think about it, like, what if they had Wiggins and they had all this other stuff and they went down that route? Like, Kyrie could be a valuable player in that way. And with Damian Lillard, like, not his fault that his shooting guard also happens to be a really big liability defensively, and they quite haven't figured out what direction they want to go in either. Yeah, you want a two-way player if you're going to pick the number 150 overall draft.
It's not just defense to me. It's the fact that, and I feel like we're picking on these guys, and they're amazingly skilled basketball players. They're two of the top, 20 players in the league. But these guys don't make their teammates better, I guess, in the way that like a guy like Steph Curry does. And I feel like that's almost my bigger concern at this point. You look at the assist numbers.
Well, don't you have to trust like Brad Stevens to kind of do that? Wouldn't you just rely on him and the other guys around him to make sure that like he makes everybody better? Like, because that's the thing with me is, like, I just, whatever Brad wants to do with him and mold him however he wants to do, I'm sure it'll be the right way. Brad's one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's done everything right so far, and everything that Boston has done to get to this point has been absolutely right so far. So, I mean, I hate to do the trust the process thing, but they've been on the right track.
Lucky, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, like, just 23, 5, and 5, just like only one other person's done that ever. And granted, is Latrell Whitehead, who don't know much else about, but it's better than Harden in his sophomore year, and it's like and if that's a guy that doesn't play defense, we've seen at an elite level, but he still helps his team. He helps his team more than a Westbrook. You can be really flexible in how you make your team around him. He doesn't command a certain style, and I think that's the coolest thing about Fultz.
So, Alex, like, let's focus in on his playmaking. Does Markelle Fultz stand out to you as like a good playmaker or a great one?
It's hard to use the word great. It is hard to use the word great. But what I will say about him is he is a pass first guy. I don't think a lot people look at his stat line, they don't necessarily see that, but he's looking to pass first and second most of the time. And like it actually like when this was coaches, they're always kind of like the way the coaches used to like KG to always shoot more. It's kind of the same thing with Markelle Fultz. They always want him to shoot more because he's so unselfish with the ball. So I think just based off his ability to be like a complete like devastating player in the pick and roll, on top of the fact that like he does have the power to finish, he can score at all three levels. The threat of that makes him a great playmaker, not just for himself but potentially for others as well, because of his like such unselfish attitude and want to like get all his teammates involved. So I think right now I would say he's good, but he has a chance to be great.
And honestly, 5 assists with his team's like abysmal 3-point shooting.
I think it was like 5.9,
pretty good,
by the way, right?
Yeah, it's not.
It might be selling short.
It's a good number. It's not like it's a bad number.
No, it's great.
Lucky he's got a good point. It's like when your team clogs up the lane and can't shoot threes. Like, I mean, poor guy. He's already scored 23 points. What else do you want him to do? You want him to like facilitate too? It's like, pick your poison.
No,
there are legitimate concerns. Like, I'm not trying to.
The Westbrook effect.
Right.
If it's not triple-double, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he had 5.9 assists. You figure if he had a better team, that number would probably be more like 6.9 or even 7.9 or something like that. I don't know. Like he does sometimes like see plays like a step ahead, maybe not 2 steps ahead, but exactly, my guy. I mean, I'm not worried about that actually. With Markelle Fultz, I've been like trying to pick apart his game a little bit, and I guess the main thing I keep coming back to offensively is that his like burst isn't elite, and I feel like in point guard prospects, like he makes up for it in lots of other ways, and he's great in so many different ways. But either as like a pick and roll player, or perhaps like as an ISO scorer, in the playoffs, in the Eastern Conference Finals, in the finals, or something like that. I feel like that's something I just want a little bit more of out of him. Am I off base here, Lucky?
I don't know. His pace, I just love his pace. It's just like awesome. He waits for plays to come from him. And it's like, I mean, when you're playing that like herky, just kind of like wait for it, it's hard. Like he still does have a first step, and I've seen him blast by like a lot of people.
But he's not elite at creating
But it's not
space.
elite. It's not De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, but it's
let's
not
just
always
get
about
Lonzo Ball,
space.
De'Aaron Fox, and Fultz, and just put them into one person. We'll be good to go.
It's not. He just knows how to play angles. He's an amazing guy trying to figure out the best angle to attack somebody. So like he sizes you up all these while he's doing all these herky jerky ball moves, he's sizing up your body and looking at you like, okay, I have to attack him at this angle, this direction to get by him, and that's valuable. Like knowing when to attack and how to attack, not just like, oh, I can get blow by. It's not like so Jaylen Brown can blow by guys, but like a lot of the times he doesn't get by guys because he takes the wrong angle. And this is like the complete opposite of that. And you have like obviously you'll have the first step because you can learn how to play angles later, and you can never. Sometimes most of the time you can't just make up foot speed. Like you usually have it or you don't. So yeah, I understand that very small knock, but it's not like he doesn't still get by guys. There's another way to get by, like using your body, how to pin a guy in your hip and get by him that way, like to shield him off. There's certain things you can do to make up for that.
Yeah, I'm nitpicking at this point, pretty much. But, if we're saying that he's going to be like this #1 option, best player on a championship team, I think you have to do that. Am I off base here, Alex?
I think that you have a point in the sense that, like, that's traditionally what we kind of, like, expect. Like, you kind of want a guy that, forget the pick and roll, like, I'm taking you one-on-one, I can go, and I can just get by you. But what I think those other guys are hitting on, which is correct, is that I think that's just kind of like one way to skin a cat. That's one way to get by somebody. But there's also the whole other way, which is kind of like how we watch Paul Pierce like dance around and get his step back off because he knew how to create that separation, or like how you watch like James Harden just basically get like the perfect angle to set up his shot. And I think that kind of leads into one thing that Markelle Fultz does really well, is that he doesn't really BS with the ball. Like when he catches it, he kind of knows where his spots are. He knows how to get to those spots and what moves to use to kind of get to those spots. Kind of like Evan Turner, which is it's a weird comparison. I hate Evan Turner, but like
I like that though.
Yeah, he did a really good job of knowing his spots. Like he knew he could shoot from that part in the mid range, and he knew he moves to get there. And I think without that burst, you have to have that type of like savviness, and I think Markelle Fultz has shown that he can do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the James
like,
Harden comparison there. Go ahead.
Evan Turner's like, step back 15-footer. He's like a step back 30-footer. So I'll take that.
All right, I want to tell you all about HelloFresh, the meal kit delivery service that makes cooking more fun so you can focus on the whole experience and not just the final plate. Each week, HelloFresh creates delicious new recipes with step-by-step instructions designed to take around 30 minutes so that everyone from novices to seasoned home cooks short on time can make tasty meals. HelloFresh sources the freshest ingredients measured to the exact quantities needed so there's no food waste. And they also employ two full-time registered dietitians on staff who review each recipe to ensure it is nutritionally balanced. They deliver food to your doorstep in recyclable, insulated boxes for free, and they are now offering light spring meals and have just introduced breakfast options. Now, the loyal listeners of CLNS Media will get a very special offer. Get this, because you are a loyal listener to the Boston Celtics newsfeed, you can use the promo code BEAT30 for $30 off your first week of HelloFresh. Again, support CELTICS Roundtable and try HelloFresh for free. Simply visit HelloFresh.com and enter the promo code BEAT30. Okay, Alex, I wanted to ask you, we are talking about, could this guy become perhaps like the top 5 player in the league? Offensively, if something is holding him back, what would you pin it as? I know you love the
guy. Okay, so one thing he does that, granted he did officially in the college level, but it will probably drive people crazy, is he takes way too many long twos. Way too many long twos. He makes the shots, and a lot of them come off like really pretty moves, like step backs and stuff like that. But like, just kind of looking at it in like a Morey ball like aspect, like when it's that far back, you want your guy taking the three, or you want your guy trying to get to the hoop, or if you're shooting from the mid range, at least like the mid post or something like that. So I think right now he is gonna kind of have to work on that, which is a real thing. It's not always as easy as just taking a step back. There's like a whole process.
How confident are you in his shooting?
Right now, I'm pretty confident in it. Like, I don't think he's really a 41% 3-point shooter.
No, me neither.
I don't actually think that like that's his percentage. Like, I think I want to see. I just need to see some of his other shots like against NBA defenses. To be honest, like I want to see like how he hits like step backs and like little fadeaways that he does, kind of like off the mid post. I want to see like how his two steps look and how he finishes at the rim.
But the one thing about like Markelle Fultz offensively, like the one thing that I always go back to when you watch him play is like watch how much time he spends like double teamed and triple teamed and how much attention he has of the other team whenever he has the ball, and he still finds ways to score. And you're like, like I know you can't simulate NBA defenses. But the fact that he can like score with like 3 guys hanging all over him is still pretty impressive. And I always go back to that being like, okay, the foot speed is going to be different, the length's going to be different, the intelligence is going to obviously be very different. But I mean, considering the sample that you've seen, I mean, he's just still scoring it well with 2 guys all over him, jump up and somehow hit like a tough 15-foot, and you're like, okay, that's got to translate well, right? I mean, come on, I'm not I'm not insane here.
Right.
You know what? I have actually one quick nitpick. There is something he does when he gets like double teamed and stuff that really drives me crazy. He has this weird thing of trying to split like defenders with the behind the back dribble, and it always worked in college. But like it worked in college all the time, no matter what. And I'm like, I just think at the next level it's not going to work out that well. I hope it does, but like it infuriates me that he always goes to that in like the most dangerous situations.
He just turned it into like a left-handed layup, and I'm like, wow, how'd you do that?
Yeah, the spin moves. His spin move might be his like #1 best move. But getting back to his shooting, I think like the 65% from the line is a little bit of a red flag. I actually think his shot form looks better than it did when I was watching him prior to his college year. I thought he actually had a little bit of a hitch in his shot, or it just didn't. It looked like too mechanical, I guess I want to say. And he has smoothed it out a little bit. I think he'll have to do it a little bit more when he gets into the NBA. All right, quickly before we wrap things up, we've tried to nitpick a little bit at his offensive game. Let's look at the other side and get a little bit optimistic here. Alex, what is going to power Markelle Fultz to be an MVP candidate? What is your favorite thing that he does?
I think the thing that's going to make him an MVP candidate is the fact that he can do everything. I think teams are he's gonna end up being one of those guys who has like the crazy advanced stats, like his on and off number is going to be great and all that. I think his assist rate is going to be awesome. He's going to have a manageable usage. He's just going to be able to do everything. But what I think, honestly, like when it comes down to NBA, when it comes down to point guard, just the pick and roll, what you can do out of that, can you run the offense? And whether you can run the offense or not depends on how you can run the pick and roll. And he's just shown it. It makes up 30% of his offense. Like, he's done it time and time again. And I think at the next level, if he can do it as well as he did in college, and just be able to create and score from all these different ways with like an NBA talented player, like a guy like Al Horford, or maybe by the time he's an MVP candidate, it'll be like, I don't know, like
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Anthony Davis, Bamba, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But like when you do it like with NBA players, that NBA spacing, I think he could be a really devastating player, and I think that's gonna like stick in people's minds when they eventually vote him for the MVP in 2021.
Nice. Evan, favorite thing that Markelle Fultz does?
The fact that he can split double teams already at 19 years old is pretty impressive.
Behind
the way he does. Well, no, it's not even just always behind the back. He finds different ways to do it, and the arsenal of moves to split a double team is really impressive. And like having that skill at the next level, I mean, opens up so many things, especially in a motion offense like the Celtics run, where they really encourage backdoor cutting. Like, I mean, that's basically how they try to keep pace with teams like in Washington, and when they got into that dogfight with Cleveland, like they were trying to beat Cleveland backdoor sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it wouldn't. The fact that he can do that, get to the next level of defense, even with two guys on him in the pick and roll, that's going to open up every option possible for him, for drives and kicks, for driving to the rim, dump off pass to a big, like all those things you need him to do at the next level, he can already do. And like, just again, the pick and roll thing is obviously huge. But the fact that he can split double teams already as a guy that's 19 years old has me salivating.
Lucky, favorite thing?
I just love his pace and the fact that he can score pretty much anywhere on the court. When you have to create shots, you need to be able to score wherever you are. So
yeah, I like his ability to just like finish at weird angles around the rim. I know his rim finishing numbers like weren't amazing this year, but I think that had a lot more to do with the type of team that he was on and the amount of bodies he was seeing. But his creativity was probably second to none. But for me, I think it might be his handles, which are just, I think, the best in the class. And I think he's going to come into the NBA with an above-average handle already. I mean, you know, the hang dribbles, the spin dribbles, like he's just incredible at it. I think he's got a chance to be like, you know, be in that like maybe that Steph Curry, like James Harden outcome of just his ball handling ability. And I think that's just going to be huge for the Celtics and for his development. So anyway, we want to thank Alex Kungu for joining us for these past couple of episodes. Alex, what are you working on? What can we expect from you in the future? Where can we find you on the interwebs?
I'm on CelticsBlog. You can find me at KUNGU_NBA. And I'm probably going to have about one more Markelle Fultz piece. And then I'm going to shift over to full Celtics offseason mode. And I'm going to try to convince you guys that we should sign Paul George at all costs.
I look forward to that, as long as you don't trade my boy Jalen.
Yep.
Just saying.
No, I can't trade Jalen. It actually nauseates me. People bring that up. It makes me so upset.
Agreed.
All right. Remember to subscribe to the Boston Celtics newsfeed, available on your favorite podcast app or by downloading the CLNS Radio mobile app. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you're watching us on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable and a 5-star review on iTunes. That's the Boston Celtics newsfeed. Really helps us out. We'll be back on Monday talking more off-season topics. We want to thank Alex Kungu, Evan Valenti, and Lucky's Pipe for joining me, Matt Ignal, here for the last couple of podcasts. And we want to thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.